What's up, guys? My name is Miles.
And my name is Fez.
And this is The Commodity.
And today we're taking a look at why did the Philippines keep its Spanish name, parentheses, short animated documentary, close parentheses.
Guys, before we hop into this video, if you would, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. It truly helps us out in getting these videos out to more people. Also, if you would, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon. That way you guys can stay informed on our future videos. And if you'd like to help support the channel even more and get an exclusive YouTube short shout out, click the join button down below. Let's hop in and see where you guys kept the Spanish name.
The Philippines is a country made up of many islands and many peoples. It was named after King Felipe II of Spain.
This isn't the first video we've reacted to by History Matters. I recognize the name and the artwork.
And the voice.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. Not the name, but the voice. Yeah. I will link this channel down in the description if you guys want to go check them out, because the last video that we did from him was pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Country made up of many islands and many peoples. It was named after King Felipe II of Spain when the Spanish conquered it in the mid-16th century. And despite the islands winning their independence twice, it never changed its name in the way that many newly independent countries do. Which raises the question, why did the Philippines keep its Spanish name? So first, context. At the time of the Spanish conquest, the Philippines was in no way united. It was made up of many small independent states ruled by distinct peoples who spoke different languages. The islands were then mostly united under Spanish rule familiar, and they collectively soon became known as the Philippine Islands. Spain ruled the Philippines from this time all the way to 1898, which was when a short war broke out with the United States. And to put it mildly, Spain didn't do very well in the conflict. This was good news for Filipino rebels who had just been defeated by the Spanish just before the war's outbreak after they had declared the creation of the Philippine Republic. And so, with the Spanish defeated by the Americans, you'd think that this would be the beginning of an independent Philippines which could choose its own name, but fun fact, no. In the Treaty of Paris, the Americans were given control over the Philippines, which they could have relinquished whenever they wanted. The problem was that they didn't want to do that. Instead, they came to a compromise with the rebels. You shut up and we'll keep the land. Shockingly, this led to war, but the Americans were much better armed and prepared than the Spanish were. And thus, after a brutal conflict, the Philippines were pacified. So, did the Americans want to change the name? Well, no, because there was no reason to. They had won the Philippines and they intended to keep the Philippines. The same went for when the Japanese occupied the islands during the Second World War. US sovereignty of the islands was declared over by the Filipino leaders, and a new 100% totally independent Republic of the Philippines was declared. The Americans soon undid this, but after the war was over, US leaders soon realized that there was only two options for the Philippines: independence or full statehood. They opted for option number one for several reasons. The first was that fighting a war against
Could you imagine giving a country that far away from the U.S. full statehood?
Right, that would be odd.
Yeah, like, hey, you need to come to Michigan where the corporate location's at. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, like, we know you work for Apple, but
we need you in California.
We need you in California tomorrow.
That would be terrible. I don't mean like, hey, we would love y'all as a state, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm sure y'all would rather not be a state, but
yeah,
hypothetically, if y'all were, it would be miserable because it's so far away.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be our
I think
first
a flight's
conquer.
like 18 hours or something to you guys.
But if we conquer the world,
we could take over everybody. We don't want to do that. We love different cultures, and at least us personally. I don't want to be just one culture.
I mean, if we're talking about the best culture. No, I'm just kidding.
Imperialist expansion and then keeping your unwilling colony seemed a bit hypocritical. Second, the Philippines had largely been economically ruined by the war, and the US didn't want to pay for all of that, and so, all the best. And third, the people who lived there wanted to be independent, and by 1946 most Americans were done with being shot at. And so, as an independent country with full control over its destiny, surely there were some who wanted to abandon the name given to it by its former overlords. And there were. The first name proposed was the Tagalog Nation, which was a big no-no because the Tagalog-speaking people were not a majority in the country. The second proposed name was Rosalia, named for the Filipino revolutionary Jose Rizal. The problem with this was that Rizal was a controversial character, since he actually wanted the Philippines to remain a Spanish colony just with extra freedoms, and thus, no. There was one last potential change of name, which was considered in the early 1960s, but there was a catch. Another country was also considering the same name, and thus began the most boring race in human history. The first annual legislative sprint to get a majority in parliament to name your country Malaysia. Spoiler alert, Malaysia won, and after this, barring the very recent push to change the name, the Philippines just sort of stuck. It was a case of trying to find a name that everybody could agree on, which they couldn't, and so the one that equally offended everyone remained. I hope you enjoyed this episode and
The one that equally offended everyone.
I kind of enjoyed this though. Like, I mean,
Well, I mean, it was very
you know
entertaining.
what would have been nice if, and take it or leave it, y'all might not want this, but it would have been cool to have like a territory. Like, let it still be a territory.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to statehood, where you don't like vote towards the U.S. Presidential elections or any of the stuff.
Right.
But you have your own, obviously, just like other territories that we have. But the benefit is if you have major issues,
Like natural disasters and stuff.
you get the funding from the government to help
Right.
you out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are jerks that have ran the country that are like, oh, well, there were only several hundred people that died. You try to compare it to like stuff that's
Right.
on the mainland.
Yeah. No, just depends on who's running the country at the time
Yeah, but
and if they're for the people.
exactly. Let us know down in the description. Would you,
The comments.
or yes, down in the comments. You have no control over the description. If it was an option to become a state of the United States, would you want to? Or if it was an option to become a territory of the United States, would you want to? And it's okay if you don't.
I think the
Totally.
majority of the comments would say no.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously, I mean, from a government financial aid standpoint, it would be a benefit, but from just like a personal, like a pride standpoint, I'd want to be a free country.
Oh, absolutely, and I respect that and I get that. But some people might have a different thought process, or
Yeah.
somebody might just be like, "I wish this was better,"
Right.
or something like that, and that one thing might be able to be better because of a territory or a state.
Yeah.
I mean, take it. I mean, and it might not be. That's the thing. I mean, obviously, we're not perfect either, so
At all.
nowhere near it. But guys, I hope y'all did enjoy this video. If you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification. I screwed that up. No, actually, what I was thinking was, if you have any suggestions for videos, please put them down in our description. But if you did like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see our future videos, hit the subscribe button and that bell notification. And if you want to support us directly, hit that join button. And with that being said,
My name's Miles.
my name's Fez.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Out.